Good day. I am Richard Kagan, and I'm introducing Brittany Johnson to you for us to have a discussion on the Farm Bill Forum, Sustainability and Rural Vibrancy, which is going to be held in Pelican Rapids on Wednesday evening at 6:30 in the Lake Region Electric Cooperative Public Meeting Room. We want to give you some idea of what this forum is going to be about and why we are inviting you to participate in it on that evening. So, Brittany, please tell me, why is the discussion of this farm forum important?
Well, so we're discussing the Farm Bill right now because it is going to be passed probably in 2019, so it's being written right now. And the Farm Bill is a very important piece of legislation that affects us all more than we know. So one really important thing that the Farm Bill does is, it helps ensure that we're taking care of our most vulnerable populations. We are very blessed here to be living in one of the most productive agricultural areas in the world. And we also have this culture here where we make sure that we take care of everybody and that, we make sure that people who fall in hard times aren't being left behind. And the Farm Bill nutrition programs are a really important way for us to do that. 83% of SNAP benefits go to a household that has a disabled person or an elderly person or a child. And so that's a really important way for us to make sure that everybody's taken care of in our communities. And the second reason that the Farm Bill is so important is because it helps us ensure that we have a safe and secure food supply. So the Farm Bill funds a lot of our agricultural programs. And Norman Borlaug, who is a U of M alumni like me, he won the Nobel Peace Prize for his agricultural work, and he said that you can't have peace on an empty stomach, and that's very true. And so the Farm Bill helps us make sure that we have a stable food supply. It does that through funding the Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service, which makes sure our local agricultural production is safe from pretty devastating pests and diseases. It also funds our Agricultural Research Service, which makes sure that our farmers and producers have the tools they need to grow enough food for our growing population while also protecting our natural resources. And then last but not least, a really important part of the Farm Bill is, the crop insurance that is provided to a lot of our producers. And so crop insurance is a really important way to make sure that our farmers have the ability to weather some tough years and come back and farm the next year, which helps us make sure our food supply is stable.
So why are you concerned with the Farm Bill? How did you get it concerned with this? What is your background?
Sure. So I kind of grew up, I'm a hybrid between the cities and up here, so my family is farmed up here. And so I was always paying attention to the conversations happening around agriculture and the environment. And what I saw was that we all want the same thing. We all want a secure food supply that is sustainable into the future. And so this Farm Bill is a great opportunity to have a nonpartisan discussion of the way that our agricultural system is set up and the way that the Farm Bill does it. And so, and I'm personally very passionate about food security.
I can tell.
I was involved in, in groups on campus that worked towards, zero hunger in the world. And the Farm Bill has a huge impact on that. So that's why I'm interested.
Mm-hmm. So what is your own background with farming and with agriculture?
Yeah, so like I said, I'm kind of a hybrid between here and down in the cities. And but my uncle farms up near Rolog, and so he has beef cattle and he raises small grains. And I spent a lot of time on that farm growing up, and I loved it. And I knew ever since I was very little that that's what I wanted to do. So I attended the University of Minnesota, and I studied plant science, applied plant science, which was great. I had the opportunity to study agriculture in Senegal, in West Africa, and in India. And then I moved up here, and I started working with farmers at the Soil and Water Conservation District in Perham, and now I have my own farm. in Underwood. So
Oh, well, welcome.
thank you.
You've come south.
Yeah, a little, yeah.
So what do you see are some of the main issues in this farm bill?
Well, so, crop prices are down, and we have farmers who are burning through equity. They're not doing so great. Some of our dairy producers especially are having a hard time. The cost of production of 100 weight of milk is about $16 or $17, and right now farmers are currently getting $13 or $14, and so that will probably be discussed. It's cyclical, but still it's important to recognize. And then 57,000 people in the Congressional District 7 rely on nutrition programs. And so those are, really important to make sure that we keep. And last but not least, it's important for us to have a stable farm bill so that we have a stable agricultural system so that our farmers know what to expect and that they aren't shocked. So
that's why the farm bill lasts for 5 years.
yes.
And now it's going to be revised and brought up again in 2019, because it originally was in 2014.
Yes.
So it's really important to iron it out and make sure that it applies, hopefully for 5 more years.
Yes.
Which is difficult to do, to plan anything in this country.
Yes.
Can you talk a moment about the generational issues, the young people going into farming and the problems they have of entering into farming?
Sure. Yeah, so as a young farmer, I can speak to that.
I thought so.
It's an industry that's aging. The average age of a farmer is pretty high, and, we have a lot of experienced farmers out there. That's great. But, there are some new folks who want to get involved too, and, there are some issues with land access and access to capital. And so there are a couple of programs in the Farm Bill that give younger farmers a chance to get on the land, but they're not perfect, There are hoops to jump through, but it's understandable given that it's a public resource and we want to make sure that our money is being used responsibly. But yeah, the generational gap is going to be important to deal with now rather than later.
Particularly as our population is getting older and older, and the younger population doesn't seem to want very much to stay on the farm.
Well, I want to stay on the farm.
Yes. Right.
And I know a lot of people a lot of people my age who are interested in it, but those barriers exist, and we need more people to be interested in it.
Right.
So.
Well, I'm very glad you are
Yes.
doing that. But can you speak a little bit about the export market for farming and how our exports and imports affect the production here and the prices?
Sure. So, we export a lot of our agricultural products. Our both corn and soybeans, a lot of them get shipped out of country. And so what happens on a world stage impacts us, and what happens here impacts the world. So, something that's relevant right now is the NAFTA negotiations, so the North American Free Trade Agreement negotiations. And we send a lot of corn to Mexico. We do. So what happens in those negotiations will affect the prices that farmers receive here. And, that's part of the Farm Bill too. There's a title in the Farm Bill that discusses trade. We have trade delegations from the USDA that go and sing the praises of American products. And they do that, and it's important to make sure that, what happens with NAFTA is reflected in the Farm Bill.
So when you were in both Senegal and India and now, what type of farm work are you doing, or what type of other work besides farming are you doing?
Right now, in Underwood? Well, right now I am a sheep producer. That's probably, so they did have a lot of sheep in Senegal, and so that kind of got me into them. And then I also spin and knit. So right now I just have a couple ewes, and I'm going to be hopefully expecting my first lambs this spring. Like many young farmers, I have an off-farm job, and so as a way to finance the farm. But
what do you do in your off-farm job?
So that's my position at the East Otter Tail Soil and Water Conservation District.
Oh, okay. So that's where you work there too.
Yes.
which is based somewhat on your University of Minnesota training.
Exactly.
Then, who are the people on this panel that the forum is inviting to come and be on the panel, and what are they going to do?
Yeah, so it looks like a really excellent panel. We're excited to have gotten the people we did. So, we're going to have Dennis Johnson, who's a dairy scientist. He worked at the West Central Research and Outreach Center in Morris, and he's got a lot of experience with dairies, which will be useful given the current state of the dairy industry. Then we have Ryan Pesch coming, who is also a University of Minnesota Extension educator, and he runs his own community supported agriculture over near Lida, and so he has some experience growing. And then excitingly, we have U.S. Representative Colin Peterson coming. Representative Peterson is a ranking member on the U.S. or the House Agriculture Committee,
Right.
And he has a lot of experience with the Farm Bill, and he plays an important role in writing it. And then, we just recently learned that Dan Scogan has accepted to be a panelist, and he is a former state senator for, this area, and he works with the Agricultural Utilization Research Institute.
Right.
So it should be a good panel.
The startling name, Aura.
Ori, yes.
And what is the nature of this forum? Are there going to be lectures, or is it political, or what are they doing?
No, so, the way we've organized it is there's going to be a very brief presentation at the beginning to give a short overview of some of the programs I've talked about this evening, just to explain what the Farm Bill does and why it's important for everybody to pay attention. It's called the Farm Bill, but it's so much more than that. It affects a lot of people everywhere. And so that short, brief speech, and then we'll have, time for people to ask questions and get answers and some discussion. It's nonpartisan, it's not political. We don't have an agenda, and you're not going to get lectured all evening. So it's really a time for the community to come together and have a discussion about how the Farm Bill will impact us.
That sounds wonderful.
Yeah, we're really excited.
It's nice. Again, this is Brittany Johnson, who is one of the organizers of this farm forum that we're doing. And we wish that you would all come and participate. And if you have any other questions, please ask us at that time. Thank you very much. I'm Richard Kagan. Have a good day.
Thank you.